Hey there, estate planning attorney Paul Rabalais here, and in this video, we're going to talk about what's hot and what are the trends for estate planning in 2021. All right, so here we are, another year. Last year was crazy. Not going to go over all that. Everybody knows it was crazy with the pandemic. But what I do want to talk about is, what are the trends and what's trending, what's hot from an estate planning standpoint in 2021, moving forward. So, any discussion about what's hot and the trends of estate planning in 2021, I have to mention just the normal traditional estate planning stuff is still just as important as ever. So let me just touch on that for a moment before I get into the 2021 trending items. So the traditional estate planning is still important. All the process of designating your heirs and beneficiaries and whether those beneficiaries should receive an inheritance either outright or in a lump sum or in trust. And many people opt to leave things in trust for their spouse, for their children, for other beneficiaries, either to keep assets in the bloodlines or provide for a beneficiary's poor management skills or spending habits. So all of that designating your heirs properly, either outright or in trust, is still important, just as much now as it's ever been. Planning for your incapacity has been important and will be even more important in the future as people live longer, they get older, they probably spend more years now in a state of incapacity, not being able to handle their money, not being able to adequately make their health and financial decisions. So designating the right family members and giving them the authority that they need to be able to handle stuff for you when you can't is real important. There's a lot of squabbles going out there in America among family members trying to figure out how someone's assets or medical decisions should be handled because that parent, that grandparent, that aunt or uncle, that loved one is not able to make decisions for themselves. So all that still very, very important. Also important, I think, will be as people live longer and as medical costs increase, a component of estate planning is a lot of people ask me about how they can protect what they have if they get sick and go into a nursing home. Although I will tell you, there was a period around the middle of 2020 where people were saying, I realized I'd have to spend my money if I went into a nursing home, but I'm not going to a nursing home. That was when, the COVID was really spreading. People in nursing homes were passing away. So I think that aggressive Medicaid eligibility planning waned a little bit during mid-2020. We'll see what the effect in the future is. So all that stuff, what I call the traditional estate planning, it was important 20 years ago, it was important 10 years ago, it's important today, and it'll be important 10 years from now. Now let's talk about what's trending and what's hot for 2021 and moving forward. My first point that is trending rapidly is what I call estate planning from home. So it's using Zoom or other video conference, it's using the telephone. It's what I call drive-by signings, people driving to the lawyer's office and staying in their car and being handed a clipboard and being shown where to sign. It's what I call in and out signings. Come into the office, sign, get out of the office, all because of the COVID pandemic. So that's a major change to where it was before 2020. I've spent 30 years, and look, I do deal primarily with kind of senior citizen clientele. And up until 2020, boy, anytime somebody needed to discuss something about their estate, it was, Paul, I got a couple things to talk to you about. I need to schedule an appointment. Paul, I'm not sure about what it says in my document here. Let me come by the office and let's sit down and chat. And so every communication about estate planning with that, 60-year-old, 70-year-old, 80-year-old, it had to be face-to-face. That's what the public demanded. Now it's the exact opposite. I'm not coming to your office, Paul. I'd like to talk about this over the phone or on a video conference. A lot of phone stuff. So, and quite frankly, I love it because I get to wear my jogging pants and do this stuff from home and be more comfortable. So big change there. So you're seeing a lot more, done from home, and a lot less done, lot less decisions made from clients in the office. More done, with remote learning or the remote education, or as we say. So other things that are becoming popular in 2020 is the use of technology. And so we're going to see that really change some things in 2020 and beyond. We're going to see the use of machine learning, the use of artificial intelligence, not only to get legal documents prepared, but also to get legal documents signed. So in 2020, we've seen a number of states pass this, we call it RON legislation, remote online notary, where before, if you were going to get your estate planning documents notarized, you had to be in the room, in the physical presence with the notary. Now with remote online notary, I will tell you it's cumbersome to meet the requirements of a remote online notary process, but it's a start and it's coming. And then where there's also a lot of room for improvement is things like e-sign, which really hasn't really existed from an estate planning document perspective, and I think we're going to see some advances being made. It's kind of the traditional estate planning. The financial services industry is ahead of the estate planning legal services industry, because if somebody has a 401k or an IRA, depending upon where that financial account is held, and they have a $3 million IRA, they can go online, change their beneficiaries, and redirect where that $3 million asset goes when they die. However, if they want to leave their grandson $1,000 out of their checking account, they gotta make an appointment with the lawyer. Lawyer's got to draft up a bunch of paperwork. They've got to get notaries and witnesses and expense involved. So I think in the future we're going to see those two systems merge, and we're going to see technology being used to make it simpler. Although we have to keep all the fraud out of it, but we're going to see, with so many advances in technology, you're going to see technology creep its way into the estate planning services industry as well. Another big topic for 2021 is avoiding tax, and not just because of our recent change of administration in our government, but it was kind of a big issue already. So we have for years had this estate tax law on our books that said if you just happen to survive until 2026, January 1st, 2026, your estate tax exemption, the amount that the government allows you to leave to your heirs free of the 40% estate tax, the amount that you'll be able to leave them free of that tax will be cut in half on January 1st, 2026. So we're making preparations now for that to happen in the future. But in addition to that, the law change could be much more aggressive. With a new administration, it's likely that there's going to be a much further reduced estate tax exclusion amount and a higher estate tax rate. So we're starting to work with people to make sure they don't get bit by that here in 2021. Also, there's the possibility of an increased capital gains tax. There's also the possibility of the elimination of the capital gains step up in basis. So we're preparing for that. Other tax things that are trending in 2021, now that we've had the Secure Act in place for a year, which eliminated the old stretch IRA provisions where a beneficiary of an IRA could stretch out those distributions over the beneficiary's life expectancy. The Secure Act eliminated that, thus eliminating one of the benefits of the traditional IRA. So now we're looking for alternatives to not only reduce tax, but keep assets in the family for decades or generations to come. So I'd say another trend for 2021 is, it's this, used to be this large number of what I call traditional families, which is now being kind of like this with what I call the modern family, seeing a lot more of the modern family, and kind of the traditional family is kind of being balanced out. So lots of new family dynamics out there, not only people who have been married a number of times and have stepchildren and couples having children. Some, perhaps the children of one of the spouses have never met the spouse of their parent. And so that creates oftentimes havoc when one of those spouses dies. And so lots of other kind of modern family circumstances that create even more need to make sure that estate planning is buttoned up just right. And then, of course, I think another trend for 2021 is people just have more of an urgency now because of the COVID pandemic. They realize that, hey, you never know when something can happen. Yes, let's figure out what we're going to do, and let's get it done, because a lot more people in 2020, I'd have a conversation with them and they'd say, Paul, the fact that we had this conversation about exactly how I want things to go, even though I haven't signed it yet, does the fact that we had the conversation have any validity? And I'm like, nope. They're like, when can we get it signed? So a lot more urgency because of the COVID pandemic than before. So those are some of the trends for 2021. I'm going to use this channel to keep you posted. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss anything. I hope that you use this YouTube channel as your primary source for up-to-date, no nonsense, to the point estate planning information as we move this channel together towards 2 million views and 100,000 subscribers. So I want to thank all of you out there who have watched, who have liked videos, who have subscribed. I hope you're enjoying watching these half as much as I'm enjoying making them, and we'll see you next time.